This program contains dramatic reenactments and material that may be disturbing to some audience members. Viewer discretion is advised.
Australian police were searching for the brutal killer of 7 hikers. They needed to get a result quickly, but their investigation was swamped under 1.5 million pieces of information.
It really struck me as the sort of scenes that I'd seen as a kid growing up, you know, where you go into a certain area which had been used as a shooting gallery, and people had propped watermelons, or they had, taken trees and shot them, or even animals, in which animals had just been, subjected to just massive mutilation by bullet, is simply part of target practice.
In parts of Georgia, Dr. Basham knew this kind of behavior was often enjoyed by brothers who had a close relationship over many years.
The solidarity, the kind of family society overrides the larger society. And I just had a feeling of the kinds of quality of the crime scenes, that we might be dealing with that kind of family, that kind of person, a person raised in that kind of family.
Dr. Milton agreed. The killer may have grown up with guns and may have gone shooting with members of his family. It was the kind of detailed analysis that police needed, and it reminded them of a family they had in their files. The Malat family were known to have firearms. Some of the brothers went shooting together. Some had criminal convictions.
That's exactly the sort of family I've been talking about. That's exactly the sort of social environment that I would expect somebody who does this kind of thing to have grown up in.
With the profiler's opinions, the police had to ask the question, could the killer come from the Milat family? And if so, which brother was it? Richard Milat was fond of guns and sometimes used an alias. Wally Milat had been in and out of prison and owned some land the brothers used as a shooting range. Ivan Milat had convictions for theft and had faced an armed robbery charge. Few of his neighbors knew that Ivan Milat spent most of the 60s in prison.
Hi, Ivan.
Morning, love. How you going?
Good.
Good day for it, isn't it?
Yeah.
The police discovered Ivan loved guns, like his brothers. He had a powerful 4-wheel drive. He'd had sporadic relationships, including with one of his brother's wives. And his ex-wife told police Ivan hadn't been as pleasant as the neighbors thought.
It fitted very well with the profile of the first offender that I've described. That is, of someone who was employed, had a fast car, had a previous criminal record, but who liked violence in a very measured and sadistic fashion.
Detective Paul Gordon from the task force tracked down Milat's 4-wheel drive.
Excuse me, sir. Can I ask you some questions?
Yeah, of course.
Gee, when did you buy
Milat had sold it, but the new owner had got more than he bargained for. He'd found a bullet under the front seat. The bullet was the same .22 caliber Winchester brand that had been used in the murders of Caroline Clark and Gabor Neugebauer. It didn't mean Ivan was the killer, and it didn't rule out one of his brothers. The police had to check their alibis against the abductions of the backpackers. Criminal records suggested he was capable of something as serious as the Belanglo killings. Investigators went through every detail again.
When we went through and checked the criminal history of the Milat family, what was filed on archive records, it wasn't readily available, we had to go back through hard copy searches, was the record that in about 1971, Ivan had been charged with abducting 2 women in the Bowral area and had been charged with raping them.
Ivan's defense had argued the girls had consented to sex. He wasn't convicted. But the case bore similarities to the murders. The girls